Okay, so this is a demo of how to cream butter and sugar together, which is a very important method for both cookie making and making certain cakes. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you have butter. You can also use shortening, but butter is what you want to use in most recipes. That is not quite cold, not out of a refrigerator, so it's going to be a little bit softened, but not so soft that it's mushy or starting to melt. So you can see here, like I can break it apart. And then, might as well add our sugar right away. Well, here, we'll go like this. Soften the butter just a little bit. And if your butter is really hard, you can actually cut it into pieces, put it into your mixer, and then let it soften up by having the mixer on for a little while. Now, I'm adding a combination of brown sugar and granulated sugar for this recipe, but this method applies to recipes that use just granulated sugar and not the brown sugar. So I'm using a stand mixer. You can use a hand mixer. It might take you a little bit longer. And with a hand mixer, you could bring it up all the way to full speed. And the stand mixer, I'm probably just going to bring it up to about 8, with the top one being 10. In the beginning, you want to go a little slowly, otherwise the sugar is just going to spray all over the place. And what you're basically doing is incorporating air into the butter. The granules of the sugar help to do that. And if you can cream it properly and get that butter nice and fluffy and lightened, you're going to have a cookie or a cake with more volume. It helps the cookie or the cake rise a little bit. And it usually takes about 3 minutes, depending on how much material you're working with and how cold the butter is. Now it's starting to separate out and fluff up a little bit. It's something that you really want to make sure you do whenever you're working with this creaming method, and when you've got a stand mixer, is to scrape down the sides and make sure that everything is getting evenly distributed. And I'm actually bringing it all the way up to 10. And you can see it's starting to fluff up a little bit. This recipe again has a lot of sugar in it, so it's not going to get as fluffy as it would in other recipes. The other thing is you want to make sure you don't go too long, because then the butter can actually start to melt from all the friction of the spinning mixer, and the whey can start to leach out of the butter, and then you get this separation that really is no good because the air can't be trapped into the butter anymore. What happens when you're getting close is that the color actually gets a little bit lighter. You can see that this is pretty brown because of all the brown sugar, but it's starting to turn a little bit of a creamier color. I'm going to stop it again in a second and scrape down the sides. Usually the next step in this creaming method is adding an egg or more, and that will make it fluff up even more. That is about it. I'll give it a little bit more. You can see It's got a lot of air incorporated into it. And that is going to help it absorb the other ingredients that come in the next steps. So that's how you cream butter and sugar together.